I know that you're also a big proponent of the composable CDP, and I've gone down a bunch of rabbit holes on the show here. I think you and I and other folks that have had this experience, like we're really lucky to be able to work with these like fast forward thinking tech companies who are playing with the latest and greatest Martech. But it's easy to forget that most of the world is like waking up to like, what the heck is a customer data platform?
No, you're right. This is probably one of the most interesting topics of our time, and I'll definitely say I am not reading into any product marketers hype. I and this is probably my spiciest take. So I have yet to meet someone in the space who's been satisfied with their CDP.
Hmm.
And that is just anecdotally, every single person they tell me their CDP, and I go, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and they all have a sigh of relief. It's a little bit of a calculated risk on my part to approach it that way, but I have yet to meet someone that is like, "What do you mean? I love it." And beyond anecdotal evidence, I mean, only 10% of folks say their CDP even meet for current needs, and only 1% say can handle their future ones. This was a
Hmm.
report conducted by Forrester 2 years ago. Speaking of big names in the industry like Forrester, CDP companies ought to be quaking in their boots, and yes, I'm from Texas, and not congratulating themselves on Gartner's CDP Magic Quadrant, for example. Though I understand the need to, in such a pay to play environment, I recognize I use G2, I've used Gartner, I've used Forrester, all with a grain of salt, but that does not take place of actual functionality and usability. And so I've consistently observed CDPs just vastly oversell and underdeliver on their promises. And they tend to focus a lot on product signals, which are super valuable and is a game changer. However, marketers deserve and need so much more than that. And so this is where I prefer the flexibility of verse ETLs like high touch or census, and or the specificity of a composable CDP like high touch, where there's both an ease of use for minimal implementation. You just need to know what table to bring in, and you're off to the races. But also, you're not doubling your storage costs, so you're making your procurement and CFO teams happy. And instead of having multiple different places where you're paying for the storage, you have one singular source of truth, which is your data warehouse, and that is the way your source of truth should be handled, where your financial analysis is being done. It is where every single important report at your company, assuming you standardize it to enough that you're all looking at the right things, that's where it's placed. So in my eyes, having a solution that is warehouse native is the chef's kiss. And also the proof is in the numbers. And I'll speak personally. Before I left Grammarly, in collaboration with a number of team members, it was not just me, but we had connected over 25 different destinations or channels in some cases. And we were syncing data not only just for regular daily enrichment, but we were using it for commercial journey triggers. So lifecycle marketers no longer need to rely on engineering like they once did. We were saving in the millions of annualized dollars in paid advertising solely by having a daily sync for different subscription types and replacing a formerly once a month manual thing if someone remembered to do it.
Hmm.
And I can go on and on and on about the ways this approach is more cost effective, scalable, flexible, and actionable. But all that to say, I've been really, really fortunate to have both the trust and the autonomy to forge paths for long term scale. But that also requires a number of folks in collaboration and in combination of like minded individuals with a lot of foresight. Like, no company, I will not tell you, there's no company out there that will say, I want to be left behind. And so we too, as employees, have the responsibility to ensure it evolves and to back that vision up with business cases and persuasive conversations with procurement and beyond. That is, in my opinion, the role and responsibility of someone in the MarOps MarTech space. You need to be at the cutting edge, or you're just playing your cog in the machine, which is probably so bad to say. Sorry.